Hey guys, I'm back. I feel like it's been too long since the last layout update. So today we're going to take a look at some new motive power, some decoder installs, not how-tos, but just talk about them. And also been working on a little bit of mainline, which is looking really good in my opinion, so you'll have to share your thoughts. And then I've also been working on the Valence, not 100% there, but getting there. And I will have a video uploaded on that process, as well as some other things coming up. So I really plan on now getting super organized with my videos. I've been kind of lazy about how I label them and what I include or don't include. So I'm going to spend more time on making quality videos rather than random updates here and there. And hopefully you'll notice the difference. So anyway, let's go ahead. Take a look at what we've got for today. Alright, so I guess the first thing to check out is this new locomotive. As you can see, I just purchased a Scale Trains Norfolk Southern ET44AC, and this is an awesome locomotive. I can't rave about it enough. If you have the opportunity to get one, definitely do it, because I did not realize that, at least in the near future, I didn't think that high-level detail like we see in Athearn Genesis was really going to get much better. But Scale Trains, as well as the Intermountain release, take detailing to a new level with all sorts of really cool features, like the rotating bearing caps. There's see-through grills, like really see-through, and just really cool road name specific details. Like on this Norfolk Southern version on the Pilot, they included up here, there's actually, it's probably hard to see on your screen, but there's a ECP brake detail, which is very specific to Norfolk Southern, and they have a little extra electrical cable or brake line coming out of the Pilot there, which I was not even expecting when I ordered it. So very happy with the locomotive. And the reason I got Norfolk Southern instead of BNSF is because I sold my ES40 DC, so I didn't want to lose any diversity in the fleet, so I decided to just get another NS unit somewhere down the road when I have you know, a lot more money and am focusing on expanding the fleet rather than growing or building the layout. I'll probably wind up getting a Intermountain, or sorry, a BNSF C4. So anyway, I will do an in-depth video on this locomotive, maybe not a full review, but some sort of overview or shakedown, and then we'll see it in plenty of running videos. So I don't want to do too much in this video, in this update, I don't want to stretch it out, but I will start up the locomotive and we'll listen to a few of the sounds. So there's the startup. Here's the horn and the bell. And then let me notch it up for you really quick. We'll go all the way to notch 8 just for fun. There's the radiator fans. And there's notch 8. We'll bring it back down. So anyway, like I said, I'll do a further in-depth video on this. I think it sounds really great, and some of the ESU decoder functionality really adds to the locomotive, which just looks amazing. So, and honestly, I think the lights are really good too. So, yeah, that's this locomotive, and let's go ahead. We'll take a look at some of the other things that I've been working on. So this is my Canadian National Dash 9 project. I've not finished it yet. The cab is still loose on the frame and I have some details to do. All the pilot details and the lighting too. But one thing that I did change is I replaced the speaker that I had in it. Originally I had a Railmaster Hobbies, I think it was like a 1436 speaker. But what I didn't realize is that wasn't a bass reflex speaker. So I transferred that over to another locomotive, and then I put the DSM-8, I think, which is the bass reflex version. So let me go ahead and fire up the locomotive, and it might not be super obvious because there's nothing to compare it to directly, but hopefully you notice it's got a bassier sound, and I think everything comes out more clearly, which is super important with the GE, sound files, because they they do a lot of clanking, and we need that to come through. So here's the startup. So I think that sounds much better to me. It just feels like there's a lot more capacity for sound. And then there's a notch out. So anyway, I just think it sounds good. I just wanted to update you on what I've done with this locomotive. One thing I'm thinking about doing is I have this leftover intermountain frame that I got to do my Tier 4 GECX project, but I never followed through on that. So I'm thinking maybe, since this has all the lights and ditch lights all in the right position, as well as the pilot details, rather than steal all those details and take them over to the Athearn frame, I might try to see if I can just work it so that I can get the Athearn shell on the Intermountain frame. It'll have a better motor in it anyway. So anyway, that is in the works. I haven't started that overhaul yet, but just something I'm considering. So, in addition to those couple of locomotives, I've also been working on putting some decoders in locomotives. So, trailing behind our BN Executive Mac here, we have BNSF 5612. This is actually the first BNSF locomotive that I ever got. This is an Athearn RTR AC 4400, and you'll notice that it's in Heritage 3 paint, which I guess is not, let me zoom in here, not super prototypical, and it's also a little beat up, so I need to replace some of the details. But being the first locomotive in BNSF that I ever got, I have a sort of emotional attachment. So both these locomotives have Digitrax decoders now. This one has for a while, but I just put in a Digitrax DH166 in here. So that allows me, when there are a lot of locomotives you'll notice that I need to add details and do some work on, but the good news is I actually have plans, and I've figured out exactly what I need to get. It's just a matter of actually making the order. Anyway, with this decoder, I'm not putting sound in it just because it's kind of a noisy runner, but I will be able to, when I add the details back on, go ahead and add ditch lights as well as LED headlights on both ends. So that'll be pretty cool to have that back in operating order. So here are a couple more things I've been working on. I've had this Kato SD40-2 for a while now. Once again, fitting the theme, I do need to add some details as well as lighting, but I've been working on installing a decoder in here, and I went ahead and put a TCS motherboard in here, which is equipped with Keep Alive. So this is actually the first Keep Alive unit that I've installed or had, period. So it works pretty well. I tried to put my Econami decoder in here, but turns out that it doesn't, the pins don't line up perfectly. So don't know what I'm going to do about that. I might try to kind of rig it up so it will work, or if not, I'll just sell the Econami decoder and pick up ESU or TCS decoder that actually will work. So anyway, this is getting worked on. I thought I would have a decoder for this update so we could have it in at least running, but I'll go ahead and figure out how to get it up and running. The motherboard works perfectly. I tested it with another mobile decoder and it works fine. So this is actually where the speaker from my Canadian National unit went. So anyway, that is something that is in the works, and I'll wind up putting details and ditch lights and new headlights in there as well. And one more thing that I did, this is a little project earlier this week. I made this tarp load for this bulkhead flat car here. Really simple. This actually only took me about 45 minutes, and it's removable as well, so you can see it has its little wooden planks under there, and if you expose the underside, it's not too pretty. You can see a bunch of duct tape and all that, but it is not at all noticeable when you get it lined up on the flat car itself. So I like the way that the tarp came out. This is just 2 different layers of plastic bag. One of them, the one underneath, was really kind of stiff, but it was really opaque, so I figured that would keep any light bleed through, because I'm using some pink foam stacked together under here. I didn't want that showing through. And then the outer layer, to give it that wrinkled tarp look, is a thinner plastic bag from like Target, or any white plastic bag would work. And this is just the little tiny pieces on the bottom were extra balsa wood I had. And then nothing's really new with the car. That's been weathered for a while. So this is actually for sale on my eBay page. If you want to check that out, I'll put the link in the description. And I'll probably wind up doing a video on how to make these too. Really simple, pretty intuitive, but I'll go ahead and make one because I think it's kind of a fun little project that adds a lot to a flat car. So really the big change from last time is I think the sub-road bed and mainline up here and to the staging room. So I have both of the tracks. This is a mainline and siding through this big curve here, and you can see there is a turnout up there, and then I have the cork to the wall. So I still need to finish the staging bench work just a little bit. It's mostly up. I just got to put the sub-road bed in, or the plywood, and then I'll get that main line back there. But at least up to the turnout, I have everything situated where it needs to be. Now I just need to go ahead and glue it in place. But if we go ahead and look this way, you'll see there's actually a pretty cool vertical curve. So if I zoom in, you can see it just kind of like drops off down there. So if you're standing at the end of the peninsula, it'll be a pretty cool scene, because you'll see the trains coming from about where we're standing. They'll start to drop down grade and head around and down Crawford Hill. So I really like the drama of this vertical curve here, and it's looking pretty good. I like the track situation and arrangement. And I guess down here, this is where the tracks then come back together. So as I said, I still need to put these put the glue down for the actual track, but once I do that, I'll just start dropping some feeders, tie in the track bus, and then we'll pretty much be done in terms of the mainline infrastructure over on this side. And then of course I am still working on the Valence. So not a ton new. I wish I could say as I'm making this video that I got it all in, I got all the lights installed, but that is not the case. One of the boxes of lights that I ordered from the company didn't have the power cords or anything, so I'm waiting on those. But just tonight and yesterday I got the lights in along this stretch here. So this is as far as I got them, up to that corner. Now they need to come across and back down and all the way around the peninsula. But I also got the hardboard in for the fascia around here. So I really like the way that curve turned out. Turn, no pun intended. But anyway, and then I got the, the Valence. I think I called it fascia. The Valence down here, and at least starting into our peninsula, or the end of it here. So obviously there's still a few gaps that I'm going to come back in and solidify. I've done that in a few places already, and it's looking really good. So for right now, I only have the curve to that piece right there, and we'll have to wrap it back around to the other side where we saw the main line we were just looking at. But really it's starting to frame the layout nicely, and I like the way it's coming together. So another thing that I'm going to work on this weekend, since I'm on fall break, is as you can see, we have our nice ugly walls back there. Red and white aren't exactly sky colors, so I will have to go to Lowe's, pick up some blue paint, and we'll at least get a nice base color under there. I'll have to start sanding some of these holes too, so I can get the the peninsula painted as well. So that'll be nice to kind of have just a nice clean blank slate. Anyway, so over here now you really get to get a sense of what the scene's going to be like with those tracks up above. Of course the scenery is going to drop down, we're not going to see that bench work, but those tracks will still be exposed. So we'll have 4 tracks running through here, 2 will continue down grade off to my right, and then 2 will pinch off into a single track, which then goes back there into the deep, dark, scary staging room. So anyway, that is that, and things are really coming together. Well, I think that's about it for this layout update. With the way things are going this weekend, I'm sort of in the groove, so it's possible we'll have another layout update in a few days, but I figured I'd just get this one down and out of the way. I know it's kind of long, but if I waited any longer, it would be a half-hour update. So I apologize that it's been so long since the last one, but we'll definitely see some more progress very soon. And yeah, that's really all I got. So pretty excited about the stuff that's going on. I love the new locomotive, and I'll just keep working. So as always, guys, if you have questions or comments, please leave those below. But otherwise, I will see you next time. So thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned.